Nice to see you. Happy to have you join us for our campus Zoom for the first week of summer school. Amazing. We actually made it here. It's great. I'm happy to see you. Do have some updates. We'll do the usual. Have some things to share from the UHCC chancellor's meetings, and some things that the rest of the ELT will be sharing with you based on their own meetings that they're having at the system level, or meetings that have been going on with the COVID Comeback Committee, the CCC committee. Thanks to all of you who are participating in those committees. Your input is important. Okay, so for those folks that have been asked to submit COVID-19 leave records, please do continue to do so. Sometimes we forget, but it's always easy to go back and do that. The state legislature has been asking questions, so it's good for us to be able to do that. So if you have been asked by your supervisor to go online to do that COVID-19 leave, don't forget, once a week is good enough. Go on there and put it in your times. Update on some enrollment numbers if you haven't been checking for yourself. Today, our fall enrollment is down 20.3%, which is improving. Every day it gets a little bit better compared year over year from this time last year. Everyone in the system today is down between 2.7% and 29% is the highest. So we're somewhere in the middle. But summer session is actually higher this year than last year. We are up 9.4% compared to last year. And this does not include the next steps classes that we're offering to the high school seniors. This is straight out online summer session 1 classes, up 9.4%. You may have seen but reported in the newspaper, a new $2 million worth of scholarships for students who were enrolled in next step classes that continue on to college. So that's new scholarships that don't just cover tuition and fees, but can also cover other kinds of things. So we have some generous folks in the community who have supplied us with those scholarships. Our hope always is that students who are taking our next step classes this summer will continue on into our fall program. So we can be hopeful now that there's some money to support that move. There have been lots and lots of questions from you guys about liability. Am I going to be liable if somebody gets COVID-19 in my class? Questions about what are we going to be allowed to do for classroom protocol? Can I take temperatures? Can I get students to fill out a survey? Questions about what are we going to do if students come to campus and don't have a mask or don't want to do social distancing? All of those questions are under consideration by the working group that President Lassner has that is being headed by the Office of the General Counsel. So the UH attorneys are taking time to review all of those kinds of questions and come up with some UH policies. So those are very important questions, and they will be addressed at a system level through policies. I don't have a timeline. Attorneys are cautious people. They will want to make sure that everything is dotted I's and crossed T's. So we can expect the policy to be generated sometime in the next month or so, or 2 months, at least before August comes around. Your admin team and help from other subject matter experts have done a 2-step classroom inventory. So the first step was to go and get square footage and folks have been going around the last few days checking out each and every classroom within certain buildings. I think there'll be a report from others later on, but they have looked at the configurations of the classrooms, moved furnishings around, and have determined safe head count for each of the classrooms. And I believe Maria is compiling all of this into a spreadsheet for sharing. I think they just finished the classroom visits, in-person visits this morning, so that's coming up. Okay, that's all I've got to share from the Chancellor's conversations. Are there questions? What is it that I haven't made clear, or what do you need additional information about what I've just shared? Gotta check to see if Dave Evans is on. We always need to wait for Dave. Oh, not on yet. Okay. Dave not here today. Okay. Room for others. Who would like to ask a question? Okay, if it comes to you as we keep talking, feel free to ask. So we'll go through the ELT, and they have things to share from their CCC groups or their system-wide meetings. And I just would like you to know and acknowledge that right now, Maria and Noel are on a break from a 5-hour Zoom meeting to be here for this Zoom meeting. So I think that they deserve some kind of a Purple Heart, some kind of an award for resilience. So go ahead, Noel, anything you'd like to share with the assembled multitude?
I was trying to stuff my face and I thought I had more time.
Oh, okay.
So I think Maria's doing the same thing on the other end. So really quickly, completed the spring semester and got some of the tentative data of students who requested. They changed from their normal grade to a credit, no credit. So thanks to Jerry, she pulled the numbers. Overall, there's about 1,018 students, not students, courses where their grades was changed from their letter grade to a credit, no credit. The major concerning part that when looking at this data I have is there's about 50 to 60 students who received an A or B in a class, but still proceeded to change it to credit, no credit. So not sure what the rationale is behind there. When I'm looking at some of the reasons, it could be that they made this change earlier on in the semester, in the first week, as compared to when the final grades were posted. So what I'm actually gonna do is Jerry has a meeting with her registrar's office across the system tomorrow. I know they have some plans on what they wanted to do, so I'm actually gonna wait for that to see what they're thinking before we make a campus decision. Most likely, for the students who got A's and B's, I think we should reach out to them because I think choosing the credit really had no benefit to them. Those who got anywhere from a C through an F, those ones are pretty self-explanatory, but just kind of reported just some raw data for now, just so you guys have an idea of what this whole thing where we switch from credit to no credit look like for our students. But yeah, that's all feedback I have for now. The CCC for Student Affairs, we're still meeting. I'm still trying to finalize the committee, trying to add another member from the library just to kind of make sure keeping that intact. Just to give you guys a general update, what this committee is looking at is not just student services, so counseling, advising, financial aid registers. We're actually looking at spaces where students would normally meet. So this would include spaces like where the department secretaries are located, whether it's in Kalia, Coquille, etc. But to really think about as we move back in the fall semester and we have this established new norm, what do these spaces really need to kind of make sure that we're thinking about everybody involved. So most likely you'll see a survey coming out from our group that will try to incorporate some of the questions from the other committees, just so that we can get everybody's voices kind of heard in all this, because it's really hard for all of the representatives um, representing different units to really be experts in all these different areas. So we're going to depend on your feedback to be able to make better decisions moving forward.
Thanks, Maya. Questions? Oh, sorry.
1,018 grade changes. So it's not 1,018 students. Part of them, it's maybe one student did this twice, so they're counting as two. So these are grade changes from A through F to credit, no credit.
Correct. So Shannon's explanation is correct, that 1,018 grades were changed by multiple students.
Yeah. The actual number of students, I don't know. I actually got to go back and probably count it, but close to probably 900 students, I would say.
Yeah. Questions for Noel? Okay, Maria.
Okay. Hi, everyone. We just finished going through all the classrooms to figure out how many students can actually be in the different classrooms that you're going to be using for the fall semester. So I will be sending that out to the department chairs, hopefully by tonight, with considerations of, like, how do you decide on whether you want to be how you're going to be teaching your classes face-to-face or online or hybrid and all of those stuff. I'll be sending that out to the department chairs. So department chairs, please send it right away to your faculty and have a discussion with them, because we have a very short timeline to decide on what the fall semester is going to look like. And there will also be another document that might be sent out sometime soon on the different varieties of hybrid classes that we can have, that the system is proposing. So those will be coming out later, because I think that has to be vetted by other groups yet. I'll get clarification later today after at the 2 o'clock meeting. Another development is our replacement exam has always been AccuPlacer for quite some time, but the system is now developed another one which is using EdReady, and so it is a go. Our testing center is now aware of it. They don't have to do Zoom in order to do that, so it's going to be a lot easier for the testing center to give out or administer the placement exam using the EdReady. I think those are everything that I have so far.
Maria, is the EdReady placement exam going to be for both English and math, or just math?
I only received the one for math. I have not received anything for English yet. I'll ask later today.
There's a question, Maria, from Amy. Says, does the student take the EdReady on their own and report the score? How does that happen?
I think you have to get assistance from the library, from the testing center, because you will not have access to just EdReady. Somebody has to give you access for it.
So it's not just EdReady, the one that's helping you learn math that you might have missed. It's actually a test.
It's actually modules. You have to finish this module in order for you to be able to qualify for the class, for whatever class that is. So there are different modules depending on the difficulty. And so I think it only goes up to Calculus 1.
So I can't go online and just start doing it?
No.
Okay.
You have to be given access.
Are there other questions for Maria? Okay, Brian, your turn.
Hello, everyone. I don't have much of a report, but I do have an 30th. It's unclear as to what's going to happen after that. We can't bring people back until offices are safe. And not safe according to you, but safe according to a reasonable person. What this means is that for department chairs, unit heads, other office supervisors, we really need you folks to start working on your office plan, your office return to work plan. I've worked with several of you already via the phone and also made visits to your office. But this is something that you and whoever else is in the office really should talk about it first. And then as necessary, call your dean or other administrator, including myself, and we can come down and check it out and help you think through some of the more difficult things. Today I spent almost an hour and a half with KISC, and I thought it was very, very fruitful, and it was good. So please start thinking about that. The importance of that is this. Many of you are asking for, hey, I need sneeze guards. Hey, I need to move a cubicle here. Hey, I need to get a new desk and put it here. We won't be approving any of those until there's some sort of plan in hand, because we need to look at everything holistically, and holistically meaning your plan. So please start taking the time to think about this. We cannot wait until June 30th. Because wait until June 30th, if in fact we all need to report to work on July 1st, that obviously is not going to work. Especially because a lot of the things that we may have to purchase, such as sneeze guards, which is plexiglass, could very well be on order for several months now, or back ordered, I'm sorry. So please look at that. If you have any questions, you can shoot me an email and give me a ring. Absolutely, please keep your dean or your administrator involved as to what you're thinking, and kick ideas around. It is not easy. Even two-person offices have some thought that have to go into it. Thank you.
Questions for Brian? Okay, Maria, there's a question from Cheryl. Can you please share specific instructions for us to share with Ed, to share the Ed Ready testing option with students? And then there's another question, maybe this one, Joanne will answer later. Will the employee safety group be providing us with the basic requirements that need to be met? So that's for you, Joanne. For the offices, yeah. Are there any guidelines, Brian, for back to work plan? Anything specific you want people to be considering, or?
Yes, I mean, that's a good question. I probably should have included it. So Joanne Joanne has really taken the bull by the horns on this one, and she's created basically a format or guidelines for the return to office. It's a set of questions, a set of guidelines and a set of questions in 3 different areas: sanitation, social distancing, and Joanne, the third one.
Mask.
And what?
Mask. Face coverings.
Okay, and face covering. So, it's pretty comprehensive. Obviously, this is all brand new to everybody, so I can guarantee you that a lot of forms, a lot of things we come up with are, in your particular situation, may have something new that is not even addressed in these. But the Joanne folks are working on that. I don't want to say when it's going to be done. I think she'll cover that during her update.
Yeah, why don't we just do that right now since we're talking about it? Joanne, you want to bring people up to date?
Sure. The employee safety subgroup did meet yesterday to discuss these guidelines. We have like 5 different documents that we're working on, because we're looking at every aspect when humans are on the campus. And it's to help us prepare for fall 2020. We're hoping to get that office one done by next Tuesday, June 2nd, and no later than June 9th, but it sounds like June 2nd is probably better. So we'll expedite that one. I think we're in pretty good shape. And the one interesting thing that has been coming up is that, so the goal of the safety group is to create a balance between making sure that there's clear guidelines, but also being aware that each person has a different sense of what safety is to them, right? So the basics are the same: face covering, social distance greater than 6 feet, and hand washing. All these things make sense to most of us, but I want to focus on the more emotional aspect of all this, because some people are highly stressed out during this time. And, you know, we as a college community can give guidelines, but we also need to make sure that we're not overly critical on how we implement our guidelines. You know, we can remind each other, oh, you know, we need to have social distancing here. But if you've gone to the grocery store during the day, it's really not easy to maintain 6 foot of distance at all times, right? It's like almost impossible. So we're working hard to create these guidelines, but will it actually ensure your safety? We have no promises, right? So I'm asking for the community to be supportive of each other, to acknowledge that there may be heightened worries about safety, and to create options for your employees so they feel like they have a real say in all this stuff. But most importantly, I want you to please try to help each other out, support each other's efforts. Try not to be like the vigilante, 6 feet, 6 feet, you know, don't get crazy. And when fall comes, I'm asking that we use a bit of reasonableness, patience, and kindness, because the transition back might be a little bumpy. So if everybody can just be a little kind, I think it would help.
Questions for Joanne? Ryan, comment. Okay, thanks, Joanne. Huh?
I will send out the email about the EdReady. I think English is already ready to go too. I think they already have set up the guidelines too. There's going to be a Zoom meeting, I think, on the 29th, which is when? Tomorrow?
Friday, 12 to 1.
Yeah, okay. So that's going to give folks more information about how to use the EdReady.
How is anybody going to know the Zoom link for that meeting?
Sending it out.
Thank you so much.
Email.
If faculty, this is from Amy, if faculty members are teaching fully online in the fall, are they allowed to work totally from home? How are we ever going to know? I imagine that the whatever the policy that comes through, will be able to see all of those things. How do we get on the Zoom list? Which Zoom list, Denise? Friday, 12 to 1. Maria's going to send something out. Who are you going to send it out to, Maria?
I'm trying to collect who I send it to. I send it to Noya?
Yeah, make sure Denise gets it.
Yeah.
Let me put it in this Zoom chat box too, because
There you go.
I already went to a whole bunch of the student affairs people, but let me put it in here because I don't think I get the academics on my list.
Okay.
Put it over here. Give me a second.
Thank you. Thanks, Jamie, for a kindness video. Is that what's her face?
It's you. It's you and Noya and Maria.
Oh no. Not that one. Okay. No. Gosh. Lisa Radek, your turn.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to echo what Joanne said, and especially when you start looking at reports, we're even seeing that there's discrepancies between what the CDC has to say and the National Institute of Health and those types of things. So there's a lot of opinions floating around out there, and everybody will do their own research and come to their own conclusions. But again, it became obvious as we were traveling across the campus how different everyone views the current situation and the future situation. So I'd just like to echo what Joanne said, that it's just going to take a lot of patience and kindness to get through into fall. With regard to what we're doing in health, obviously one of our biggest challenges right now is PPE, which I have thankfully found a vendor And so we'll be moving forward with how we can procure PPE. We may be limited in what we can get, but we'll get what we can get that will hopefully last us through the end of fall. Got a lot of good things going on through our health education on credit side. A lot of just-in-time programs for those individuals who are out of work. And there's a news article that is just coming out now about the community health worker program. We had 2 courses offered through Waipahu High School, and those students graduated and had nothing but wonderful things to say. And we actually have 9 of those students who are coming into our program this fall. So a lot of good things happening, even throughout all the challenges that we're having. But in health, we're holding steady. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Lisa. Questions? Yes, Lynn.
Lisa, if it's okay, can you connect us with the students? I'd love to maybe use their story or profile story.
I think they were securing the authorization to use their likeness in the media release, but let's check with Sally, because I do believe they have several of those. So
Yeah, I'm always waiting for a good story to tell.
got it.
Thanks, Lynn. Okay, John Richards.
Hey, aloha, everybody. Happy summer. A couple of little updates just to let everybody know that we continue with our production team in the cafeteria to put out meals every day to the Department of Education kids that are caught in the crunch and not getting their daily food. Also some kapuna feeding as well. I think it's getting ready to potentially ask for an increase from various agencies, just so that you're aware that this is a really great program serving the community from our campus. And I'm very proud of the work that they're doing, and you should be too, because we're really making a difference in that very unsung way. And we don't know where this is going to end up. You know, I continue to try to be concerned and predict where the newly unemployed are going to become near homeless, and how much more need is there going to be in our Hawaii community. It's just really amazing. So very proud of that program. The other quick update is, if you have questions about your Perkins proposals, email me. I'll set up a time to discuss. It's been a very different process this year. So if you're not sure where things are, please do not hesitate to communicate with me. The Perkins were staged in 3 different phases. Phase 1 happened immediately over a month ago. Phase 2 proposals are now, I think, completing and being awarded. All of the phase 3 proposals are kind of in a holding pattern until the system sees the results of the phase 1 and phase 2. I know that's convoluted if you're not aware of what Perkins is going through, but it's very confusing. I am staying up to date with our executives here as well as the system, and I'm happy to answer any questions anytime about your proposals and the status of those proposals. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Anybody have anything else they'd like to add or a question for John? Thanks, Ben Carroll. Shout out for the nurses doing their drive-through graduation on Friday. Yes, that's quite funny. A lot of honking, a lot of happy families. How many people were in that one car? There must have been like 7 people in one car. They carpooled to the parking lot. No social distancing whatsoever in that car. It was great. Thanks for bringing that up, Ben. Yeah, one dad was almost left behind. They were taken off without dad. That was funny. Oh, God. Now, your turn.
Yeah, so aloha everyone. Just a real quick update on the next steps. I know John was asking that some faculty want an update on is your class a go for summer too? Just really quick, we're not even there yet. So we're still enrolling people in courses that start on June 8th. So we're not that far down the road at looking at summer session 2. But so there was about 475 students enrolled in 3-credit courses. And of the 475 students, 105 of the students are enrolled in our, I think we have 6 3-credit courses that we started on Tuesday. So that's really good out of, you know, the 7 campuses in the CC. But as soon as I get word of that we're starting to schedule for summer 2, I'll let you folks know. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, questions for Nava? Okay, no questions. Carol, your turn.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just want to share with you that in addition to the workforce development and continuing ed programs that we're doing, I wanted to remind you that we do provide student support services in the form of the HiNet program, as well as the First to Work program. And I will call upon Danielle, who I think is on this Zoom, to let everyone know about the intake that she's doing at this point and how to get in touch with her. Danielle?
Hi. So I think I did this a couple weeks ago in the chat, but the best way to get in touch with us is either through email, which I can put in the chat. It's hinetcap@hawaii.edu, or using our online interest form, which I will find the link for and put it in the chat as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people have been adversely impacted by COVID-19, needing food support, and perhaps they're unemployed and looking for, you know, other careers and so forth. So HiNet, you know, helps to support in the form of food and opportunities for training and education. And then the First to Work program, Joanne Nakano is now the new part-time person with that, and that helps with tuition support. So I'll put that address in as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Questions for Carol? Okay, no questions. Anybody in the audience would like to share or ask or comment? Anything? Okay, I don't hear anything. Crickets.
Hi, Louise. This is Carl. Just a reminder to everybody, Top to Go is going to start June 1. If you need to register or need more information, please reach out to Jamie Sickle or Yojing Zhang.
Thank you, Carl. Denise is also reminding us when registration came up, register to vote and complete your census form. Thanks, Denise. Okay, I'm guessing since there are no questions and no more chat in the chat.
I have a quick one, Louise. Sorry.
Yes. No, it's fine.
So, you know, I'm not versed at knowing, so I know there's the C19 code. I know international students, there's some things that, you know, they have to take a face-to-face course. I think Carol was mentioning that HiNet students cannot just take online courses. Is there a place that we can get all those rules for all of these different students. And for like international students, do they have a list of all those students who fall under that category? Because I don't know how many of those students are actually enrolled in a possible face-to-face course come fall. And if we don't go face-to-face, I'm just trying to see how we can look ahead and, you know, like pull lists so we know who those students are and how, I don't know, I can see that a lot of confusion might start popping up as we move closer to fall and how we can troubleshoot it early.
I'm not aware of any single place where you could find information about the different populations of students and what the constraints are. I don't know that there's one place. Maybe area folks might know, but I don't know that.
Okay.
For international students, the ones that are constrained are those that apply for F1 visas, and we know who they are. So we could find out now. Roger has been giving us information about the numbers of students who have F1 visas and which classes they are in. He does not give us individual names, but they are knowable. So if we did want to track, we could also see which courses they have signed up for and whether they are online. But there are not many signing up for online classes. But your question is, what if it's face-to-face now and it goes online? That is the more serious question. But we can know which of the 247 students are enrolled as F1 visa students in classes that are face-to-face now. We can know that.
Okay. And oh, go ahead.
For the international students, as you know, they are required to take 9 credits face-to-face courses. We have asked CVIS, which is Homeland Security, if they would give us an exemption for that. I'm pretty sure they probably will, because there are so many schools on the mainland, but you're going to face this same question. So we have already asked CVIS to give us an exemption so the students can take online courses rather than having to take 3 or 9 credits for face-to-face. But we have to wait for them to tell us.
Joe, can you define what face-to-face is for international students, just so I'm clear?
Basically, I think you're wondering, can you use hybrid as part of that? As I understand, you can, but then, again, all these rules are CVIS rules, which we have to abide by. CVIS, of course, is, as I said, Homeland Security. So if you're talking about 2 face-to-face classes and then the third class be a hybrid class, that's something that has to be worked out, clearly defined by CVIS.
Okay.
And I think students are waiting to find out what we're going to offer as face-to-face classes, because we can't tell them that they have been exempt from the CVIS requirement of 9 credits until we hear something.
Yeah, the hope is that we will get exemption from the mandatory 9 face-to-face. But I do know from other times in this chat when people have said that hybrid can count as face-to-face for that particular thing. Since there is a face-to-face component, it doesn't have to be 100% face-to-face. And the reason why they want face-to-face is so that they know that the student is actually where they're supposed to be. It's tracked.
Joe or Louise, may I ask a question, please?
Sure, Laurie.
So just to clarify, the current status is 9 credits face-to-face, which could be hybrid, and they can take as many other online classes they can. I mean, obviously it would be like 1, but they could take 2 online classes and 3 face-to-face, and that would still meet the requirement?
I believe so. Yeah, Joe?
Yeah, as long as they've done a minimum of 12 credits. That's what they need in order to get the visa. 9 of those credits must be face-to-face. Then if you want to take one, well, you have to take an extra course to make it 12. If you want to take 15 credits, go right ahead.
So we would be able to get a list of those students now because we don't know when we'll hear back regarding the exception. It could be after June 30th, or it may be before. Do we know how long that process normally takes, realizing the embassies are closed?
Yeah, I don't remember how long it took for us to get the exemption letter back from CVIS when we asked for spring and summer. Is Sean, Sean, are you on? Let me see.
I submitted the letter to the CVIS yesterday, and I got back from Lashonda saying that they don't have any guidance for fall yet. So we are not sure when we're gonna hear back from CVIS what they're gonna do. And for in terms of the face-to-face, hybrid classes are also included. So if two of the face-to-face and one of the hybrid class, total of 9 is qualified as face-to-face.
Great. So finally, so to Navaa's point, if we know we have approximately 250 international students that are impacted, would we be able to see those students' schedule? Because then we can see if they are taking certain online classes, say for example, Accounting 201, and that falls within the current visa requirements, we can start making decisions saying it's okay that that class is online because holistically that student might be only taking 3 face-to-face classes and 1 online, or maybe 3 hybrid classes and 2 online. So I was just wondering, is that like something that you could easily get in academic logic, or would there be an easy way for us to kind of see a macro view of those students? And then we can look at the classes as we start making changes once we get those new codes from the system in terms of creative hybrid methods of teaching.
The data that Roger is pulling now tells you how many students are in online Accounting 201.
Right.
What you don't have is every single student's schedule.
Yeah.
Because it is an individual thing you're talking about. Like
right. Yeah. So we could at least
student.
use the data
So
and drill down.
I don't think you can make departmental decisions based on one student's schedule, but you can see how many students are enrolled in a particular online class. And from what I remember, Accounting 201 is one of those.
Right.
Yeah, and Cheryl's pointing out in the chat too that student schedules might change.
Right. Yeah, just trying to see what data we have right now, because what I'm afraid is that we won't hear about the international exemption, and then we do have some classes in classrooms that can only fill 10 students, and it's now at almost 20. So we're having to decide, do we reduce the enrollment on Banner, and now we're still 9 students over. So we're working through it, Louise, but thanks, information helps. Sorry for having such a long question.
No,
Appreciate all the info.
The safest thing to do for anything is to have technology supported with limited face-to-face. So if you have your accounting classes that are face-to-face and you elect to continue the face-to-face component, then you limit the number of people that can be in the room at any one time. You do not lower your class size to 20.
Right.
That's not the approach, because then you're going to be backlogging all of your accounting majors and your business administration majors. They won't get the classes they need. So it is the approach that will allow international students, VA students, all these other kind of students to be able to enroll in your class, is to have some face-to-face component and some technology support, and then you're covered for everybody.
We'll work through all the scenarios. Thanks, Louise.
You're welcome.
Louise,
Hello.
once the new system guidelines come down, people will find that there are multiple types of hybrids that the system will have. And some of the opportunities that people will have would be for multiple CRNs for the same class. And there might be one class section with one CRN that is the face-to-face component, combined with one or two other CRNs that are strictly online, so we can keep the students separated. There's a whole bunch of different situations coming out as soon as the system finishes all the agreements.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion still going on, and that's what Maria's been talking about. Those things need to be fine-tuned a little bit more before they're let into broader discussions. Okay. Maria, folks are still talking about it, and the question is going to be about what is the process for distribution for feedback. And I think Maria's hoping to get that clarified today. There are many channels that this could go through, so the question is going to be which one is the most appropriate channel to get these suggested approaches to the faculty. Understanding that the faculty are off duty and all the rest of that other kind of stuff that goes on. So the question really is about what is the best, or maybe multiple channels of communicating this to get the right feedback from folks. So I'm hoping Maria folks the VCAAs and the VCSAs are meeting today for 5 hours. I'm hoping that by the end of that meeting, there is some consensus as to how best to get the feedback from the instructional faculty. That's to answer Calvin's question. So system in place for cleaning classrooms and labs. I believe the cleaning stuff is still under discussion, what the protocols will be. If you are currently now having some face-to-face classes that are the exceptions because you have a spring 2020 class that needs to be done, or you have an exception for a summer 2020 class that needs to be partially face-to-face, then I would suggest you discuss this with Brian, because we are hoping that faculty who are teaching the class will use wipes or sprays to clean off the high-touch surfaces that they themselves use, and that the students wipe off the high-touch areas that the students themselves use. So that's the system that I'm aware of right now. And their guidelines for classroom protocols, et cetera, will be done by the CCC committee in combination with employee safety and facilities and the instructional. That's the conversation that will need to happen to bring all of that to fruition. Other questions? See, just when you think there's no questions, there's plenty.
Not a question, but I put a flyer in the chat. This gentleman, Bob Walker, he has dementia and he's been missing for 2 weeks now. His daughter is an ER doc at Stanford, and she has connections with faculty at JABSOM. She's extremely upset and distraught, as you can imagine, and she cannot come here to help search for him, because if she came here, she would have to be in quarantine for 2 weeks, which would kind of defeat the purpose. So there's a Facebook page set up also. They've been using helicopters, and they're now asking people that have climbing experience to see if they can go and do climbing some of those more rugged terrain areas and things like that. There's maps on the Facebook page that indicate that basically they've kind of searched almost the entire perimeter of the island, and now they're starting to work in. He's just simply disappeared, and he has dementia there. So if you have some spare time and you're able to help with the search, they would really appreciate it.
Yeah, Angela's saying there's all kinds of banners around too, making people aware that to be on the lookout for this man. Okay, more questions. I hope you guys had a good long vacation. Next one is June 10th, I think. We can all have that in our sites. Yay, June 10th. Thank you, Angela. I was right. Okay, Kamehameha Day. Next, Oasis. Okay, don't hear any more. Okay, then that's it for today, you guys. Thanks very much for being part of our resolution to what are we doing to help each other out. Be kind to each other, be kind to yourself, help your colleagues. We're all trying to work through this together. Unprecedented, dire, all of those words come to mind. Oh, sorry, Jerry, thank you. And Naomi, it's the 11th, not the 10th. Ah, okay, all right, I stand corrected. Take note. Angela's already starting to celebrate early. Okay, you guys, so you can unmute your mic and say goodbye to each other. Take care, be good, be safe, stay healthy.
Everybody.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. You guys.
Alfred, you got mail.